First rule is we need 200 times the minimum bet in our pocket. So if I'm going to play a $10 minimum, I need $2,000 in my pocket just to take care of the roller coaster ride that is blackjack. So the progression is 10-10, 15-15, 20-20, 30-30, 50-50, 70-70, 100-100. When you hit 100, you stay there. So I'm not counting cards, no need to count cards. So they said he's placing a big bet on a brand new deck, and a brand new deck has no favorable odds for the player, which took them 6 months to figure out. What was the blackjack system that got you banned? So there's a casino in Vegas called the El Cortez. How many of you have heard of the El Cortez? Oh, we've got a person who's been there. That's great. So the El Cortez was built in 1942 actually built by Bugsy Siegel, whom you guys might know, who was later, gunned down for overruns on the Flamingo. So he had done the Cortez before he did the Flamingo. And the Cortez is in downtown Vegas, but it's slightly away from the main downtown drag. And so to induce people to come in, they came up with a single deck blackjack game with the best odds for the player of any blackjack game on the planet. And so there's a website called bj21.com. If you go to bj21.com, I want to clarify, I have nothing to do with this website. And I don't gain anything from whether you go there and spend money on it or not spend on it. So just a disclaimer on that. Some guy who I don't know runs that website. But what he does is every month he creates a new PDF which gives the odds of every blackjack table in North America. So for example, if I look at the Wynn Las Vegas, they have 3 or 4 different kinds of blackjack games. It tells you how many tables of each one, exactly what the rules of each one are, and exactly what the odds of each one are. So when I looked at BJ21 many years ago, I just scanned the whole, maybe 30, 40 page PDF for the odds of every one. And I found that the El Cortez had the thinnest house edge of any casino. I think the house edge was 0.13%. And so I said, okay, this is the place to test my system, because they only have a 0.13 system, 13% edge. And I don't have the time here to go through the whole system, and I don't want you to take away the fun that you guys will have with figuring it out, but I'm going to give you some hints. So you can take those hints and then figure it out. So the hint is really simple, that blackjack is a game which has streaks. So it's not like you have one hand you win and one hand you lose and one hand you win and one hand you lose, even though approximately, the odds are 50-50. What can happen is you can win 5 hands in a row and you can lose 5 or 6 in a row, or win 3 and lose 3 and so on. So you have this kind of dispersion of what is happening with the wins and losses. And if you had a system, so let's say, for example, I'm playing, so there's a couple of things, I just want to give you some rules. Let's say I'm playing a $10 minimum bet table, some table which is $10 minimum, which may not even exist in Vegas anymore, but let's just humor me for a second. So let's say there's a $10 minimum bet table. The first rule is we need 200 times the minimum bet in our pocket. So if I'm going to play a $10 minimum, I need $2,000 in my pocket just to take care of the roller coaster ride that is blackjack. So we're going to have 2,000 with us. We're going to play a $10 minimum. We are going to play a very simple progression. And I'm going to go fast here, but there'll be a video. You can see this again. So the progression is 10-10, 15-15, 20-20, 30-30, 50-50, 70-70, 100-100. When you hit 100, you stay there. What that means is if I kept winning every hand and one after the other, and I just won like 15 hands in a row. My first bet is $10, the second bet is $10, the third bet is 15, the fourth bet is 15, the fifth is 20, so 10, 10, 15, 15, 20, 20, 30, 30, 50, 50, 70, 70, 100, 100. When I hit 100, it stays at 100. So if I won like 40 hands in a row, I would just be doing 100 after that. Now, the moment I lose a hand, I go back to $10. So usually what's going to happen, 10, 10, 15, 10. 10, 10, 15, 15, 10. 10, 10, 15, 15, 20, 10. That's what's going to be happening. And it'll be 10, 10, 10, 10 if I lose like 4 hands in a row. Now, if I get a blackjack, I skip one level. If I get a double or a split and I win both, I skip 2 levels. And if you think about it mathematically, what would happen is, on average, your winning hand is going to have slightly more money bet than the losing hand because of the way you're doing the progression. So I'm not counting cards, no need to count cards. In fact, what confused the hell out of the El Cortez people was they were playing single deck and they only played half a deck. So they're only playing 26 cards. But if I'm in the middle of the progression and a new deck comes in, it's irrelevant. I'm continuing the progression. So they said he's placing a big bet on a brand new deck. And a brand new deck has no favorable odds for the player, which took them 6 months to figure out. And I don't think they still figure it out, but maybe once they watch this video, they'll figure it out. So basically what ends up happening is your average losing bet might be $10.50, and your average winning bet might be $10.75. And if that delta is more than the 0.13% that the El Cortez is offering, they're in big trouble. And they got into big trouble. And so now I need to go to the double deck games in Vegas, which the odds are, and I'm not so close because I used to be in California, it was like a 40-minute flight. Now it's like more frictional costs and I lost interest. But now the best double deck games are 0.19% odds for the house, which is still very good. And there's a few of them. There's Treasure Island, there's MGM, Aria, Bellagio, but the minimums are higher. So for example, if I play at the Aria, the 0.19% house odds, it's a $500 minimum to play 200 times. 200 times 500. 5,000, 50,000, I got to sit down with 100,000 if I go to the Aria. If I go to the MGM, $100, 20,000. I need to sit down with 20,000. So usually what people run into a problem is they have $1,000 in the pocket, they put a $100 bet down, and then that's the end of that. So more blackjack than I ever want to talk about today, but that's fine.